So the Buffalo Bills destroyed the 49ers on Sunday Night Football last night, and that was really Josh Allen's moment, and I really think that solidified him as the MVP of the NFL in this season. That was really the cherry on top, and there's only about 4 weeks left in the regular season, and the Bills are going to be probably the first seed in the AFC or the second seed, which also helps his case for being the most valuable player to his team. Think about if an average quarterback was on the Bills right now, or a guy like Aaron Rodgers or Bryce Young was on the Buffalo Bills right now. Do you think this would be a first seed in the AFC or a second seed in the AFC? Probably not, especially with all the turnover they had prior to the season beginning, the offense being completely brand new, and coaching, and even defensively, there was a lot of question marks. But, Josh Allen, he's looked really different from the start of this year, man, and I think this could be their year. I feel like they could finally make it to the Super Bowl, and I know we're only in the second day of December. A lot of football left to be played, lots of injuries to happen, lots of games to be won. But right now, if you're a Bills fan, you got to be on an unreal high right now, and you got to be really confident going into January and hopefully going into February. We all know the rematch of Week 11, Chiefs Bills, will happen again in January. Can they get it done? We'll have to see. And who knows, maybe the Chiefs will get eliminated by someone else. I'm sure Buffalo would really appreciate that. Through the past 4 years, the Chiefs have really been the boogeyman of the Buffalo Bills. The only other team to eliminate the Bills from the playoffs was the Bengals when they went to the Super Bowl, and that was just like an embarrassing performance. But for the most part, Chiefs have been the boogeyman for the Bills, and you never know. Chiefs haven't looked great thus far, even though they're the first seed in the AFC. But we'll have to see what happens, man. Now, also, Saquon Barkley also cemented his place with potential MVP considerations. I feel like Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson definitely took a back seat. They have also been in contention for winning the MVP for this year. Derrick Henry, of course, has been a beast, but I feel like the Eagles really contained him. Even though he had a lot of yards, he made some plays. He didn't look as good as Saquon a day ago, and Lamar wasn't Lamar. He was playoff Lamar against the Eagles, which isn't really the best version of Lamar, unfortunately. And yeah, man, Lamar's had a pretty good year, looked pretty unreal in certain spots in certain games, but this past game against the Browns, against the Steelers, that's 3 games where he's kind of looked kind of brutal to a certain extent, and I don't foresee him winning the MVP this year. And especially, like, we're in the critical moments of the year where the lights are bright, the weather's cold, everyone's watching, every game matters that much more than it already matters before. So I feel like Lamar and Derrick Henry could be out. And, if Saquon Barkley breaks 2,000 yards and the Eagles are the first seed in the NFC, you never know. You never know. I know quarterbacks are more valuable than a running back, of course, but hypothetically, 2,000 yards, that's a huge milestone for a running back, and for the Eagles to be the first seed in the NFC, especially with how their season went a year ago, that would be impressive stuff. But the only caveat to that is, even if Saquon Barkley wasn't on the Eagles, I still feel like the Eagles would be a good team. Would they potentially be a top 2 seed in the NFC without Saquon? I don't know. Not sure about that. Maybe if they would have signed Josh Jacobs, potentially. But I feel like if they would have had Kenneth Gainwell and, I don't know, some other RB, probably not a top 2 seed. Saquon definitely adds another element to this offense, to that team. Whenever a running back rips off a huge run, it fires up the defense every time. Defenders love RBs who just truck defenders, and He fires up that defense. He fires up that team. He's huge for the Eagles. And the Eagles are different this year, man. I really kind of wrote them off, especially with how it went a year ago and how I'm not the biggest fan of Nick Sirianni. I feel like not too many people are. But, man, Vic Fangio, Saquon Barkley, the DBs that they drafted, really impressive stuff, man. It's just, they're at a different level this year. And I feel like they could beat the Lions or the Packers. I feel like it's definitely going to come down to those three teams in the NFC: Packers, Lions, Eagles, and it'll be a good playoffs, man. It'll be a good playoffs to watch in the NFC. Really excited to see how it all goes down. So let me know if you agree with me. Do you think Josh Allen is the clear favorite to win the MVP this year? I mean, come on, man. He threw a touchdown, caught a touchdown, ran for a touchdown, in the snow. And even when he caught that touchdown, he made like an unreal dive for the pylon. He's just like Superman out there, man. And not only that, but he just got engaged to Haley Steinfeld. And, good for him. She's a very nice looking lady. What a year for him. You got to be happy for him, for real. Like, he seems like a decent guy, and he's on top of the world right now. So, shout out Josh Allen. So, yeah, man, let me know if you agree with me or would you pick someone else. As of right now, Vegas has him at a minus 210 to win the MVP. So, definitely the heavy favorite. Second place, you have Saquon Barkley with plus 250. Lamar Jackson plus 800. Now, Jared Goff is the fourth favorite to win MVP this year. I feel like if he didn't have that Houston game where he threw 5 interceptions, I feel like he would definitely still be in play just because how good the Lions have been this year. They've been blowing teams out, and they've really been the only team to do that this year, just completely dismantle teams on a week-to-week basis. But like I said, that Houston game where he threw 5 picks kind of took him out, even though they won it and he came back and what have you. 5 interceptions is 5 interceptions. After that, for some reason, Patrick Mahomes is plus 1,800. That's not happening. His stats aren't great. The Chiefs don't look too hot, even though somehow they have 11 wins. The math isn't mathing, but I'm sure it'll all make sense eventually. And then you have Jalen Hurts plus 6,000, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield in there as well. All of those are extreme long shots. Not going to happen, but there is one guy, well, 2 guys who, if they had a little better seasons as a team, I feel like they would definitely be in contention in the top 5 at least. And those 2 guys are Baker Mayfield and Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has been tearing it up. Of course, his defense is just terrible. But he's just been playing at an elite level. They got to fire Zach Taylor. They really, really do. Just to waste a talent like Joe Burrow. And he's even healthy this year. Every other year he's hurt, out for the year. And he's finally healthy this year, tearing it up. And, they just wasted this year. They just wasted it. You got to fire Zach Taylor. And Baker Mayfield, he's making a lot of plays happen, man, even without Chris Godwin. I know he still has Mike Evans, but just turn on the Bucs game, man. He's making a lot of plays. The dude's a stud. Hell of a leader. Definitely in the top 10 for MVP consideration. But yeah, man. Let me know what y'all think about the MVP race and everything else in between. If you made this far, please subscribe. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
Greg Jennings with the grab.
Good route that time by the receiver on the out route. Nice throw by the quarterback. This is what they call a timing route. Well, they were right on time.
The Broncos go with the dime formation here on defense. Midway through the first. Miller's got it. Delayed handoff. About to snap it for the 9th play of the drive. Miller's lined up behind his quarterback as the single back. 2nd and 10. Another handoff right back to him.